In the shadowed realm of the Twilight Kingdom, where the sky is painted with the bruised hues of eternal dusk, a solitary figure stood at the precipice of a chasm that seemed to stretch into the soul's darkest night. Let me tell you the story of Kaelin, a weary human warlock bound by a cursed pact with an infernal master, a pact that gnawed at the very marrow of his existence. Kaelin had once been a seeker of arcane knowledge, a scholar with a thirst for mysteries that lay beyond the pale realms of men. In his pursuit, he had crossed the lines of mortal understanding and reached into the abyss, unwittingly binding himself to a power as ancient as it was malevolent. The pact had granted him tremendous power, but at a harrowing cost. His soul tethered to an entity that thrived on despair, whispering from the shadows even now. The whispers were a constant drone at the back of his mind. They spoke of power, of dominion over the nightmares of others, but each word bore the weight of chains dragging him deeper into darkness. "Can you break the chains of your own making?" he often pondered as he tread the shadowy paths. Kaelin's once bright eyes were now clouded with shadows of his deeds. His heart was heavy with regret and longing for the warmth of humanity he had forsaken. Yet in his heart flickered the faint flame of hope. Hope that he might break free from the infernal grip without losing the tattered remnants of his soul. The kingdom was ancient, built upon the bones of forgotten conflicts, where weary stones whispered the secrets of bygone eras. Here, Kaelin made his way through the cobblestone streets, forever wary of the looming watchtowers like silent sentinels against the abyss. Desperation had driven him to the old crone who lived at the forest's edge, a woman whose wrinkled visage held more secrets than any tome Kaelin had consulted. "You seek to rewrite your pact," she croaked, her voice both rusted and soothing. "Yes, crone. Tell me, is there yet a way to sever this bond without eternal damnation?" She eyed him with a curiosity that seemed to pierce through his very being. "The path you're on is frayed and narrow. To walk it may demand more than even you are willing to sacrifice." He sensed the weight of her gaze, an insistent force pressing against the shields he had built around his heart. Despite 1,000 icy shadows that whispered of futility, Kaelin found the courage to nod. "Tell me what must be done." The old crone handed him a scroll sealed with a blackened wax sigil. "These are the words of undoing, taken from stars and bones that know death's dance. But remember, the final piece lies within your heart." With scroll clenched tightly, Kaelin traversed towards a forgotten temple where the ritual would commence, his determination clashing with dreaded anticipation. "I must do this, for there is no other recourse." His inner voice steeled his resolve. The air sizzled with latent energy as Kaelin unfolded the scroll within the temple's confines. Spectral runes glowed across the stone surface, flaring in resonance with his infernal patron's distant cries. Amidst the incantations, his mind spiraled into a tempest of clarity and confusion. A vision seized him, a memory from a past life, untouched by darkness, a canvas of laughter and love. But behind him came a chilling laughter, spectral and infinite. The entity loomed over his consciousness, wrapping him in a shroud of despair. "You belong to me, Warlock," the voice slithered into his thoughts. "Then come and claim what is yours," Kaelin whispered, casting defiance into the abyss. The temple shivered as shadows cleaved to shape his tormentor, a silhouette of living flame with eyes of molten night. Yet Kaelin was prepared. With a resolute heart, he chanted the forbidden incantation, weaving words against the fiend. As the power surged, echoing between worlds, Kaelin felt the sigils of binding fracture like glass. The incantation's crescendo brought agony that cleaved through his body, matching the intensity of his dwindling spirit. In the final moment, he glimpsed what lay beyond the shadows, a dawn he had never dared hope for. As he collapsed, free but broken, the fiend's scream echoed as the abyss recoiled, severing the malign pact. Yet what cost had he paid? His soul torn but his essence freed, he lay on the cold stone, a single tear tracing the contours of his cheek. Kaelin had rewritten his fate, a hauntingly beautiful freedom achieved, neither joyously triumphant nor desperately tragic. Perhaps there was more for him yet on the edge of broken twilight. What would you have done in his place? Would you have dared to defy such consuming darkness for a chance at redemption? Feel the pulse of the Twilight Kingdom's stories. Subscribe and like for more tales spun from shadows and light.